12 anxiety symptoms you need to know. The symptoms of anxiety can be hard to detect. Find out the anxiety disorder symptoms experts say you should pay attention to, and how to know if you're having an anxiety attack. What's normal? Help yourself relax almost anywhere. 1. Excessive worry. There are many reasons why you could be stressed: a big presentation at work or a family health emergency, for example. But anxiety could be sneaking up on you in unexpected ways. 2. Sleep problems. You've heard it before and you'll hear it again: adults need to sleep an average of 7 to 9 hours per night. Why? Catching sufficient Z's is healthy for many reasons, some of which may surprise you. Here, we explain why hitting the sack for too few hours can affect your health. 3. Irrational fears. Some anxiety isn't generalized at all; on the contrary, it's attached to a specific situation or thing, like flying, animals, or crowds. If the fear becomes overwhelming, disruptive, and way out of proportion to the actual risk involved, it's a telltale sign of phobia, a type of anxiety disorder. Although phobias can be crippling, they're not obvious at all times. In fact, they may not surface until you confront a specific situation and discover you're incapable of overcoming your fear. A person who's afraid of snakes can go for years without having a problem, Winston says. But then suddenly their kid wants to go camping, and they realize they need treatment. 4. Muscle tension. Near constant muscle tension, whether it consists of clenching your jaw, balling your fists, or flexing muscles throughout your body, often accompanies anxiety disorders. This symptom can be so persistent and pervasive that people who have lived with it for a long time may stop noticing it after a while. Regular exercise can help keep muscle tension under control, but the tension may flare up if an injury or other unforeseen event disrupts a person's workout habits, Winston says. Suddenly they're a wreck, because they can't handle their anxiety in that way, and now they're incredibly restless and irritable. 5. Chronic indigestion. If you get constipated, along with 42 million other Americans, you know all too well just how uncomfortable it can be. Luckily, you have a few options that will help to get things moving. Here's 6 surprising fixes for constipation. A. Aloe vera juice. Aloe can act as laxative for some folks. B. 2 fiber-rich foods, fruits and vegetables, whole grains, legumes and nuts all can't be fully digested, so they pass through your gut more quickly. C. Water. Drinking more H2O helps hydrate stool, making it softer and easier to pass. D. Probiotics. Yogurt, kefir, or supplement form contain good bacteria that improve digestion. E. Coffee may help stimulate muscle contractions in the colon. F. Exercise. The more you move, the more your muscles contract, including the ones in your colon. 6. Stage fright. Stage fright is another anxiety symptom. Most people get at least a few butterflies before addressing a group or otherwise being in the spotlight. But if the fear is so strong that no amount of coaching or practice will alleviate it, or if you spend a lot of time thinking and worrying about it, you may have a form of social anxiety disorder, also known as social phobia. People with social anxiety tend to worry for days or weeks leading up to a particular event or situation. And if they do manage to go through with it, they tend to be deeply uncomfortable and may dwell on it for a long time afterward, wondering how they were judged. 7. Self-consciousness. Social anxiety disorder doesn't always involve speaking to a crowd or being the center of attention. In most cases, the anxiety is provoked by everyday situations, such as making one-on-one conversation at a party, or eating and drinking in front of even a small number of people. In these situations, people with social anxiety disorder tend to feel self-conscious, as if all eyes are on them, and they often experience blushing, trembling, nausea, profuse sweating, or difficulty talking. These symptoms can be so disruptive that they make it hard to meet new people, maintain relationships, and advance at work or in school. 8. Panic. Panic attacks can be terrifying. Picture a sudden, gripping feeling of fear and helplessness that can last for several minutes, accompanied by scary physical symptoms such as breathing problems, a pounding or racing heart, tingling or numb hands, sweating, weakness or dizziness, chest pain, stomach pain, and feeling hot or cold. These super common physical signs are primarily due to the fight or flight response by the body. James Killian, a licensed professional counselor and owner of Arcadian Counseling in Woodbridge, Connecticut, tells Health. When you're in a continuous state of heightened arousal, your brain sends increased levels of cortisol and adrenaline throughout your body, which creates these physical symptoms. Not everyone who has a panic attack has an anxiety disorder, but people who experience them repeatedly may be diagnosed with panic disorder. People with panic disorder live in fear about when, where, and why their next attack might happen, and they tend to avoid places where attacks have occurred in the past. 9. Flashbacks. Reliving a disturbing or traumatic event, a violent encounter, the sudden death of a loved one, is a hallmark symptom of post-traumatic stress disorder (PTSD), which shares some features with anxiety disorders. Until very recently, in fact, PTSD was seen as a type of anxiety disorder rather than a standalone condition. But flashbacks may occur with other types of anxiety as well. Some research, including a study in the Journal of Anxiety Disorders, suggests that some people with social anxiety have PTSD like flashbacks of experiences that might not seem obviously traumatic, such as being publicly ridiculed. These people may even avoid reminders of the experience, another symptom reminiscent of PTSD. The obsessive mindset known as perfectionism goes hand in hand with anxiety disorders, Winston says. If you are constantly judging yourself or you have a lot of anticipatory anxiety about making mistakes or falling short of your standards, then you probably have an anxiety disorder. 10. Perfectionism. Perfectionism is especially common in obsessive-compulsive disorder (OCD), which, like PTSD, had long been viewed as an anxiety disorder. OCD can happen subtly, like in the case of somebody who can't get out of the house for 3 hours because their makeup has to be absolutely just right and they have to keep starting over, Winston says. 11. Compulsive behaviors. In order to be diagnosed with obsessive-compulsive disorder, a person's obsessiveness and intrusive thoughts must be accompanied by compulsive behavior, whether it's mental, telling yourself it'll be all right over and over again, or physical, hand-washing, straightening items. Obsessive thinking and compulsive behavior become a full-blown disorder when the need to complete the behaviors, also known as rituals, begins to drive your life, Winston says. If you like your radio at volume level 3, for example, and it breaks and gets stuck on 4, would you be in a total panic until you could get it fixed? 12. Self-doubt. Persistent self-doubt and second-guessing is a common feature of anxiety disorders, including generalized anxiety disorder and OCD. In some cases, the doubt may revolve around a question that's central to a person's identity, like what if I'm gay, or do I love my husband as much as he loves me? With OCD, Winston says, these doubt attacks are especially common when a question is unanswerable. People with OCD think, if only I would know 100% for sure whether I was gay or straight, either one would be fine, but they have this intolerance for uncertainty that turns the question into an obsession, she says. Bottom line. Keep on smiling, and think positively, and of course to pray. Because prayer is often used as a means of faith healing in an attempt to use religious or spiritual means to prevent illness, cure disease, or improve health. Scientific studies regarding the use of prayer have mostly concentrated on its effect on the healing of sick or injured people. Like, comment, share and click the notification bell. See you in my next video. Sir Anton Channel.Info. Thanks for watching.